The year was 1975, and the Hmong people had begun settling in St. Paul, Minnesota, after fleeing the ravages of war. Among the first families to arrive was the Cheong family, Bao, Lee, and their children, Sia and Cam. They moved into a modest house near Lake Phalen, a serene-looking body of water that seemed to promise a fresh start. Little did they know that their new beginning would be tainted by a lingering, tragic presence. Their new home had a panoramic view of Lake Phalen. From their backyard, they could see the placid surface of the lake, framed by towering trees. It was peaceful at first, too peaceful. Lee would often gaze out at the lake, trying to imagine a future of safety and happiness. But as the days passed, she began to hear strange, mournful cries in the dead of night, coming from the direction of the lake. The whispers started subtly. At first, they were just faint murmurs, barely distinguishable from the rustle of leaves. But soon, they grew louder and more insistent, weaving through the air like an unseen wail. Lee would wake Bao in the middle of the night, convinced that someone, or something, was calling out to her from the lake. Bao, though skeptical, could see the worry in her eyes and tried to comfort her, though he felt an unsettling chill each time he approached the water's edge. The children, Sia and Cam, were not immune to the lake's eerie influence. Sia, a bright and imaginative girl, began to have vivid nightmares about a girl who had drowned in the lake. She would wake up crying, clutching her blanket as if trying to escape the visions that haunted her dreams. Cam, younger and more impressionable, would speak of a friend he had seen by the lake, a pale, sorrowful girl who would beckon to him, her eyes filled with sadness. One crisp autumn evening, a heavy fog rolled in from the lake, enveloping the house in a dense shroud. Bao, desperate to understand what was happening, took a flashlight and walked to the lake. The fog swirled around him, and the whispers grew into anguished cries. The once calm water now seemed restless, churning with an unnatural energy. Bao strained to see through the fog, and suddenly, he saw her, a ghostly figure of a young girl, her face twisted in a silent scream. She reached out with a hand that seemed to dissolve into the mist. The sight shook Bao to his core. He stumbled back to the house, where Lee and the children awaited anxiously. As he relayed the horrifying encounter, the family grew silent, their fears converging into a shared terror. They sought the help of the Hmong elders, who listened with grave expressions. The elders spoke of an ancient legend that the land around Lake Phalen was cursed. Before settlers arrived, the area had been sacred to the native people. When their land was taken and transformed, a tragic story unfolded. A young girl, whose life had been cut short, had been bound to the lake, forever mourning her lost family and life. The curse, the elders said, could only be lifted through a ritual of mourning and remembrance. The family would need to honor the girl's spirit to free her from her eternal sorrow. With heavy hearts, the Cheong family prepared for the ritual, hoping to bring peace to the restless spirit and to themselves. On the night of the ritual, as the moon cast its silver glow over Lake Phalen, the Cheong family gathered by the water's edge. Bao and Li offered traditional incense and prayed for forgiveness and release. The fog hung low, thick with the weight of untold grief. As they completed the ritual, a deep, mournful cry pierced the silence, a sound that seemed to come from both the lake and the depths of their own hearts. As the ritual ended, the ghostly figure of the girl appeared once more, her face now serene and bathed in a gentle light. She smiled at the family, a sad but grateful expression on her face. Slowly, she faded into the mist, her spirit finally finding peace. The Cheong family returned to their home, changed forever by their encounter. Though the haunting cries ceased, a profound sadness lingered in their hearts. The lake, once a symbol of their new beginning, now stood as a reminder of the pain and loss they had witnessed and the spectral sorrow they had helped to ease. Years later, as they looked out over Lake Phalen, the Cheong family would remember the spectral girl and the haunting echoes of her grief. It was a love story of sorts, a tale of a family's compassion and the ghostly spirit's tragic fate, forever entwined with the waters of Lake Phalen, where echoes of the past continued to ripple through the present.